We've got some good news and some bad news on the issue of tariffs. Now let's start off with the good news. We want to be optimistic, right? Well, the good news is that Canada has joined Mexico in cutting a deal with Donald Trump to put a 30-day pause on the tariffs into effect. So for the most part, this massive trade war that Donald Trump was careening towards has been paused for 30 days because we have the deal. And Donald Trump announced this with this Truth Social message, which I will now read. It says, Canada has, no, that's way too long. Get the hell out of here. That is long. And as you will find out, it's 99% BS. I mean, you can look at it if you want to. It's BS. So, but don't worry, they got the deal. That's true. Trump has saved us. I've obviously been a big critic of him, but I have to give him credit. He has saved us from the crisis that he unilaterally tried to put us into. So, yay, Trump, go MAGA, I guess, except, is it even a yay? Is it even a mediocre win for Donald Trump? Because if you take a look at this is a press release put out by the government of Canada about all of the efforts it was going to make to strengthen border security. And that was released on December 17th. So I don't think they did it over the phone in the last day. I think it happened a month ago. Wait, almost 2 months ago. I think, and I don't want to break the law or whatever, I think Donald Trump might be lying in this instance. Anyway, now that's, to be clear and to be fair, there is one additional thing that they announced that wasn't in that press release. And that is that Canada is going to appoint a fentanyl czar. They're going to have a person whose job it is to take care of this. Okay, I guess. Whoa, Donald Trump with the massive win over Canada. They got a dude who's gonna issue a report or something. Okay, well look, good. Donald Trump was going to do a bunch of damage to the American people, cost them thousands of dollars, and now he's not going to. So I guess that's fine. But also for context, I want to give credit to Jon Stewart and The Daily Show because I had actually forgotten one crucial detail of this. So as we've been running towards this trade war, Donald Trump keeps saying that Canada is screwing us over with the trade deal that they had prior to this, that it was the worst deal anyone's ever seen. It's terrible. It's like nobody's ever seen before. And I had forgotten, but I was reminded by Jon Stewart. The trade deal between the US and Canada was signed by Donald Trump during his first term. He signed the deal that was so bad that we have to risk crashing the United States economy to write it. Well, okay, so what's gonna happen in Donald Trump's third term someday? Is he gonna be bad mouthing this one like I did? Are we gonna agree only after the fact? But anyway, jokes aside, the bad news, and then we'll discuss, is that there's been no deal with China, which is a massive trade partner of ours. And the tariffs on China are now in effect, 10% tariffs, in addition to the tariffs that Donald Trump had already put into effect. And China is, of course, as we said they would, retaliating. And so they have come back with a series of retaliatory steps, including additional tariffs on liquefied natural gas, fossil gas, I'm not doing PR for the fossil fuel industry, coal, farm machinery, and other products from the US. It also said it's implemented restrictions on the export of certain critical minerals, many of which are used in the production of high-tech products. It's also launched an anti-monopoly investigation into Google, which, I mean, go ahead, they have a monopoly, so they probably should do that. But this is what's happening. We said they would do this, and they're doing it. So you're gonna pay more for products coming from China, which I'm pretty sure is everything. And now also, they're not gonna be taking some of this stuff, or it's gonna be more expensive to import it to China. So there's gonna be less of it that's actually sold. So if you're one of the industries in the United States that sells stuff to China, you might have just taken like a 10% hit to your business in times that were already tough. That's what I was told in the last election. And also, we might not have access to these critical minerals. And that's just phase one. Trump said the 10% tariffs, that's the opening salvo. There's more to come, and obviously more retaliation as well. So Adrienne, it's kind of developing as I think we suspected it would. What do you think about this?
As far as I'm concerned, I think that Temu is probably very happy because we'll be over there shopping instead of Amazon. It's this thought of, number one, when it comes to Canada and the deal that Trump made, a lot of Americans are still gonna act like Trump didn't put us in the situation that he proclaims now are so incredibly much of a bad deal that he had to risk risk tanking our economy to get out of it. These are the things that this man did in the last administration. And if people were paying attention or taking to heart those things, they'd realize that he is not a good leader, whether it is creating these tariffs that back then those years ago added an additional $1,300 per American household. He's not going to reduce the price of eggs. He did not do it before. It continues to show us that he is not an individual who can make deals. His art of making deals puts us in an art of a bad situation that we can't get out of, even though he and his cronies are perfectly fine because they are still collecting their dollars.
Yeah, and look, so there is some damage. Whether if you're watching this, whether you voted for Trump or you voted for Harris, you now have to pay more. So that's just the reality. That's what's going to happen. Is your business might be hurt, workers might be laid off. You're going to pay more, and that's just for starters. If the Mexico thing does resume, if Canada does resume, then even worse. If he puts more tariffs on China, even worse. He's talking about tariffs against the entire EU as well, and so there's already damage. Let's be clear about that. The other damage that we were worried about a couple days ago, we don't have. But like in return, we got Canada and Mexico doing the thing that they announced months ago that they were going to do and didn't really matter to begin with. So like this just feels like a massive, at best, waste of time and energy with the potential for utter chaos, and that is already doing damage to the American people. And so it's not impossible that Donald Trump acting like Kim Jong-un or something could have paid off for the American people, but it hasn't. It hasn't, and we have no reason at this point to believe that it would. And Donald Trump, I think, like if you're not getting your news from Fox News, you come out of this thinking he looks pretty weak because he made weeks and weeks of threats, and what did he get? Stuff that we already had, and he's backed off. And so now Canada and Mexico, apparently they know how easy it is to placate Donald Trump, which is good, again, on some level, because we don't want a trade war. But Donald Trump comes out of this looking diplomatically flaccid. But I guess that's great for him. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.